One's ready. Go!
Hey everybody, it's Peaches back with you. Solo episode. You're in the team room. Like I said, it's Peaches. That way for the audio listeners, in case you still don't know my voice yet, at least maybe you do now. I'm saying it because we got several comments on it that for the audio listeners, we should explain who we are. So there you go. There I am. Barbell Apparel, if you guys haven't heard, their sale is back. It is live right now. Every pant in terms of jeans, joggers, tactical pant, their chinos, just $99. My favorite are the chinos and the jeans. They're super soft, super stretchy. If you're a quadzilla or you're thick in the rear end, they've got you covered. And that is for men and women. They do have a lifetime guarantee, and you can absolutely call it in if you need it, that favor, but I doubt you will. I have yet to have a problem with any of my stuff, and I've been wearing their jeans since their Kickstarter in 2014. So take that as you will. So if you do happen to destroy it or anything like that, they will replace it. If you're an elite member, it's free for you to do. If you're a non-member, then it's shipping and handling is all you have to cover. Other than that, they got you covered. All right. So, playing catch up with you guys, really. Man, I feel like I haven't recorded in quite some time, even though I've been doing it a lot lately. It is what it is. It's a Wednesday right now. I'll tell you about this past weekend. We did a little event, and you may have seen it on any of the social medias or whatever, but so we did an event, and we're going to call it the Operator Training Summit. And it is a mixture of at least one, if not all, of the ONESREADY crew. So you got Aaron, Trent, myself. We bring in Taylor Starch as well. So if you guys don't know him, we have had him on the podcast numerous times. He is he is the mad scientist. He is world renowned in terms of just mobility stuff. I mean, it is incredible the kind of different way of thinking of mobility and strength and conditioning, because his background, he was a strength and conditioning coach at Air Force Special Warfare, but also he was part of the USA. Now I'm going to get called out if I'm wrong on this. I'm 90% sure he was part of the USA cycling team. He trained and coached in Australia for a while. He trained and coached Olympic athletes on stuff. So he is definitely has a different way of thinking about things. And if you have watched or listened to any of our episodes with Taylor Starch, then you will know exactly what I'm talking about. And then we also have a current PJ, Chris Thomas, who is Guardian Grit. If you guys have seen him online, he's all over. We've shared some of his stuff. We've had him on several times, podcast. He kind of holds his own events as well, where it's a lot of pool time and that kind of stuff. And it's taking people that are interested in any kind of special warfare, not necessarily just Air Force. If you want to go be Ranger, SEAL, Green Beret, whatever, or you just want to get better in the pool, then he holds those kind of things. But so what we did is here in Vegas, we all of us got together and we held an event, and the folks, candidates, I don't know what the best way to describe them are. I don't know if you were one of them and you attended. I don't know. You tell me. I don't want to call you cones because you weren't cones, but I don't know, the clients, if you will. Anyway, they camped out at a beautiful campsite for 2 days. They came in Friday night, and we kick things off Saturday morning. And each time is going to vary a little bit, just in the way of like, hey, we doing pool stuff on a Saturday, we doing pool stuff on a Sunday, just because scheduling with venues and that kind of stuff. But this time, what we did was we had everybody there Saturday morning, and then we did kind of a mobility class for a couple hours with Taylor Starch. He did some academics, but then he took them actually through mobility workouts, which we'll have to post some of those videos, because having Taylor Starch not only put you into contort you into some of these positions, but also, yeah, I'm laughing because I mean he's screaming as he's like, this is a no kidding, this is a training event. When people say mobility, right, they think that it's just some stretching, that kind of stuff, and it's no big deal, right? Well, Taylor has the mindset that there's you're training. There's no difference in whether you're gonna load up and do squats, you're gonna load up and do deadlifts, you're gonna go out for a run, you're gonna go for a swim, you're gonna do mobility, whatever it is, it's training. It's not mobility training, it's training. And I'll tell you, he was holding court, had a circle of folks around him doing the exact same thing he was. Taylor was dripping sweat. Everybody was dripping, maybe not dripping sweat, but everybody was feeling it for sure. And you got the intensity and the positivity of Taylor Starch just egging you on, making you want to go farther and farther. And it's impressive to see. And he really does have just a different mindset and a different way of thinking when it comes to training, especially mobility. And the thing is, he has the credibility to do it too. I mean, the guy is he's a handsome looking dude. He's super in shape, and basically he was for sure the fittest dude out there, without a doubt. So yeah, he it was good. So we did that for the first couple of hours, and then we had lunch. And while everybody was eating, Aaron started talking about all the different attributes that not just Air Force Special Warfare kind of look for in a candidate, but just kind of special operations in general are kind of looking for. And it talked about the attributes in terms of teachability, integrity, communication, drive, those kind of things that we have definitely talked about numerous times. So he went off on that. We told some stories as well in terms of like, hey, this is, why drive, why integrity, why these things matter to us, why, the attention to detail matters to us. Then from there we did, we did a rucking class. Basically, we talked about how you want to wear the ruck, how you want to adjust the ruck, where do you want to put the weight in there, how to put the ruck on, adjust the straps appropriately. We talked about in terms of how heavy you should be going, how far you should be going, how often you should be doing it. And when we're talking about those things, we're talking about the kind of lowest common denominator, right? So some of those numbers are different for people. It's just like on here, whenever we talk about your numbers or your run times or whatever, a lot of times we're talking about the lowest common denominator. And we've got a massive swath of people that go from just getting off the couch to like they're already collegiate athletes, or they spent their entire time kind of having an athletic career, or they were brought up through their entire life. They were never collegiate or anything like that, but they have been active. So we've got a wide swath of people that we're trying to accommodate, and that's kind of where those numbers come from. And then we ended up doing kind of it wasn't no, it definitely was not a smoke session. It was a kind of, hey, here's what you can expect moving as a team in terms of, if you get dropped or you're doing a calisthenics session with cadre in the pipeline. It's formation. There's going to be a cadre member or a team leader up front. It's all the kind of preparatory commands, the execution commands, what you can expect in terms of getting, everybody slapping their hands on the ground, kicking their feet out, both at the same time. Eyes forward, eyes on the cadre, even as the cadre are moving around, that kind of stuff. So it was educational, informative, to help better prepare them and what they can expect, and help not just what they can expect, but once they get into the pipeline, then being able to go, hey, I saw this, I kind of know what they're expecting, and we're messing this up right now as a team. So here's how we can get better. That way we can maybe alleviate the 10,000 burpees that we're going to end up having to do, or not burpees. Well, maybe they are burpees, but usually they're 8-count bodybuilders. If you don't know what those are, they're a whole lot of fun. So we did that, and then we did a running class as well, which was taught by Chris from Guardian Grit and Taylor Starch. So you can see where the kind of mobility aspect and the joint health aspect, which is something, joint health is kind of what during this summit Taylor kind of focused on, was joint health and how to create space in those joints to help you move around. But so they added in the running with that, while Trent and I went and started grilling out, and we provided dinner for everybody that Saturday night out at the campground, even though it took a little while because I mismanaged the uh, ground beef, because I bought it, as it was already frozen, because I was worried about it getting too warm, and then turns out that it was still frozen by the time we needed to cook it. So yeah, I had to deal with that. But so that night, and then all of Sunday was all pool. We did, in the morning session was kind of working on efficiency during underwaters, in terms of, hey, let's work on efficiency of your kicks. So we used kick boards. Then we worked on the glide and the pull, pull, not pool, the pull. So we did that for a while. We practiced the lineup in the pool, what they can expect. Then we broke for lunch. Taylor Starch taught like an hour long, however lunch was, 45 minutes. Just kind of pontificated and talked about mobility while everybody ate. Showed a couple more things in terms of hip joint health. And then we went back in the pool and we worked on, Chris did some academics in terms of mask and snorkel, buddy breathing. This is outside of the water before even getting in. Talked about bobbing, and then we actually got everybody into the pool for the last half of the day, and then had them bob, had them travel, had them float. They never did mask and snorkel, but that's okay because we worked on all the other stuff. And then we had buddy breathing, which was taxing for me because I was in the pool with Trent and we were providing, mild, moderate, and full harassment. And it was good because there was a lot of people that hadn't done buddy breathing before, whether that was because it's scary or they just didn't have the equipment or they didn't have a buddy to actually do it with. So we had definitely different varying of experiences throughout there, which was good because a lot of them had never done it before, and they got a chance to, get their snorkel capped, get it, me trying to rip it out of their hands or trying to break apart their wrist grips, gator rolling them, dunking them, splashing them, that kind of stuff. So it was good. Kind of a cool little addition, which was an addition, not something that to be expected by any means. But David Goggins stopped by, which was pretty sweet. And he actually, there was no plan or anything like that, but he stopped by and chatted with the dudes in the pool, which was great. They were in the pool and he's, he's talking to him at first. But then, some of the folks are cold. Some of the folks are kind of zoning out. They're tired, that kind of stuff. And when you could tell when they started zoning out, like he did not skip a beat. He's zoned in on them, and he's knife handing, and he's fussing at them and telling them how screwed up they are, and all that kind of stuff. So it was good. He was a really good addition to it, as you can imagine. You don't become or get to where David Goggins is without being good at what you do. I mean, the dude just on cue ripped off the freaking PJ motto. And I don't mean that others may lead. I'm talking about the pararescue creed, like verbatim, nailed it just off out of nowhere. It was like, dude, where the hell that come from? So, so yeah, it was good. I highly recommend it. We're going to do more of these. Like, this is the first one we've done. So I'm sure, it's not that I'm sure, I know there were issues, whether it was visible to the folks that joined us out there or not. And I'm sure I know there are things that we could have done better, that we will do better next time. Speaking of next time, we're looking at, not looking at, I think we're pretty much table slapped when it's going to be 8 through 9 March of 2025 out in Orlando, Florida. We're going to hold another one of these events. Guardian Grit's going to be there, Taylor Starch, and the ONESREADY team. So that's what we're going to do. I don't know any of the logistics yet, because after this weekend, we wanted to see how it went and what the demand was. And it looks like there's enough demand to keep doing this frequently enough. So if it's something that you're interested in doing, something that, even if you don't want to join, Rangers, Green Berets, SEALs, Air Force Special Warfare, anything like that, you just want to come out and be surrounded by like-minded people, people that will help build you up, not tear you down, but at the same time give you very constructive feedback, then come on out and join us. You don't have to be going into the pipeline, or if this is your first dipping your toe into it, then come out here. The one thing I want to be clear about is it is very different than the things that you have seen, on Instagram, YouTube, all that kind of stuff, where you see hell weeks and smoke sessions and, what is that, modern day night? I don't know what it is, modern day nights or whatever, or SOCOM athlete. It's not that. Okay. It's not smoke sessions. This is straight up instructorship, mentorship. There's not yelling or anything like that. If there is yelling, it is to showcase, like, hey, here's what you can expect, kind of thing. So the whole intent is to really set you up for success and give you kind of some inside baseball on what is going to go on and what you can expect when you're in the pipeline. And that's any of the pipelines, because they're all very, very similar. All right. So what else are we going to talk about today? Especially since this is a public event. There's been lots in the news, lots in the news, but that's okay. I'm not going to cover that. I did kind of want to, as I was falling asleep the other night, actually, it wasn't even that. What actually kickstarted it was I was on the War Room podcast, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or something like that. And Jay Dorlius started he asked about what it means to us to be resilient. I think he came to me last, if I remember right, or, Ben Pappas got on there, and of course he articulated, because that's who he is. He articulated a very, his definition of what resilience means to him, which of course was awesome. Then when it came to me, I mean, I admittedly said, like, dude, I always struggle with this. I always struggle articulating what resilience means to me, or what it is. And I gotta imagine that's fairly common, because I mean, resilience can mean a whole bunch of different things to a bunch of different people, depending on how they feel. So what I wanted to do was, because I struggle with resilience, or not struggle with resilience, I struggle to define and articulate and tell you what resilience means to me. I wanted to kind of come up with a different word. The reason why I want to come up with a different word, and this is, even though this is just me on here, like I'd love to have kind of a two-way conversation with you about it, just in the way that, maybe it's in the comments, or just to maybe give me some different insight, because there are words out there that make people feel certain kinds of ways, like they have a negative connotation with it. For example, if you say to somebody who is in the military, that, operational military, that, is a shooter, or an aircraft, a close air support platform, or a helicopter platform, or something like that. If you say compound, that automatically, for most, will have a negative connotation to it, because in Afghanistan, Iraq, other places, a compound, when we're referring to it, it usually means a target, an enemy compound. So the word itself, compound, has a negative connotation. There's quite a few of those, when you start talking about it, that kind of get you, it's like, weird. So for me, resilience, the word resilience, although I know it means to be adaptable, bounce back, it almost gives me this feeling that I'm already on my heels, like that I'm in kind of a recovery mode in a way. And although that may or may not be accurate, I would like to think, because people always say, oh, well, let's have a resiliency day, or, you need to be resilient. Again, that makes me feel like I'm on my heels, or somebody else is on their heels. Whereas I was thinking about it, maybe a more appropriate word would be something else, like robust. So I kind of want to hop in there. I've got Grok up, just to, let me bring it on the screen, just to kind of go through what it says. So let's see. Oh, clicking on the wrong thing. That's why. See, define resilience. Helps when you spell it right, though. All right. Man, that's a long definition. Okay. Whoa. All right. So resilience refers to the capacity of an individual, system, or organization to adapt, recover, and grow in the face of stress, adversity, trauma, or significant changes. Here are some key aspects of resilience: psychological resilience, physical resilience, community and social resilience, ecological resilience, and organizational resilience. Resilience isn't about avoiding or eliminating stress or hardship. Rather, it's about developing the capacity to navigate through them effectively. Strategies to build resilience come from, and they give a list, like developing strong social network, learning, fostering, or developing a strong social network, learning coping strategies and stress management, fostering a positive view of oneself and confidence in one's strengths and abilities, embracing change as part of life, setting realistic goals and taking decisive actions, nurturing a positive outlook and finding meaning in life's changes. Resilience is dynamic and it can be cultivated and strengthened over time, experience, learning, and intentional practice. Okay, so there's no way in hell I was going to be able to articulate that all on my own. And I get it. All of that 100% makes sense. So let's have Grok define robust. See what it says. Robust is an adjective that describes something that is strong, sturdy, and capable of withstanding or adapting to adverse conditions and challenging environments. Here are some contexts in which the term can be used. Well, I don't need that. But do you see how, oh, wait a minute, here we go. Here are some characteristics associated with robustness: durability, the capable of enduring wear, pressure, and damage without significant degradation; flexibility, able to adapt to new or changing circumstances; reliability, reliability, constantly performing well under various conditions, and resilience. Look at that. Recovering quickly from or resisting the impact of adverse events. In summary, when someone is described as robust, it suggests a quality of being well constructed or well considered, able to perform effectively under a wide array of circumstances or challenges. So, I mean, is it just me, or does that seem like that is a much more positive and, I don't want to say aggressive, but proactive way of thinking about what we've been calling resilience? Again, maybe it's me. And I get it. Like, oh, it's creepy, it's word stuff. But at the same time, words mean things. Words make people feel differently, right? I mean, look at like the word boundaries. I can't stand the word boundaries. There's other therapy words that I cannot stand either. And so, a lot of times I have a visceral reaction to hearing certain words. I'm not the only one either. Like everybody does. Everybody has, let's talk about the word moist, right? People hate the word moist for whatever reason, right? It gives people a visceral reaction usually, or just like, oh, I don't like that. So it's the same kind of thing. So that's why I was thinking through the difference between, or not the difference, but like resilience. It has been used so much now, and I think it's probably overused. And when I hear resilience, I think of I'm in some kind of recovery mode, that I just got knocked down. I'm getting back up, which is great, but if I can foster or build a mentality and a physicality that I can't get knocked down, that's kind of what I want to get to. So let me do kind of something else here. What is the difference between resilience? Got to spell it right though. And robustness. Other than the fact that resilience is easier to say than robust or robustness. All right. While both resilience and robustness describe capacities to handle stress or adverse conditions, there are nuanced differences between the two terms. Sorry for giving an English lesson here. I'm just trying to work through this in real time and maybe course correct myself or maybe start a new term. You never know. So, difference between the two terms: resilience, focus on recovery. Resilience emphasizes the ability to bounce back or recover from setbacks, adversity, or disruptions. It's about returning to the state of normalcy or even growing stronger after experience of stress or trauma. Dynamic adaptation. Resilient systems, oh man, I cannot read today. Resilient systems or individuals often adapt to response to challenges, learning from experiences and possibly changing in structure or function to better cope with future adversities. Time aspect. There's often an explicit temporal element to resilience where the recovery or an adaptation process occurs over time. Psychological context. In psychology, resilience is particularly about mental health and emotional strength, where individuals maintain and regain well-being despite hardships. Examples: an ecosystem recovering from the forest fire with new growth emerging, an individual overcoming personal loss or stress with time, support, and personal growth. All makes sense. Robustness. Focus on withstanding. Robustness refers to the inherent capacity to withstand and resist stress, strain, or operational challenges without significant degradation or failure. It's about maintaining function under adverse conditions. Static strength. While resilience can involve change or adaptation, robustness often implies a more static, enduring strength. A robust system might not need to change because it's already built to handle the stress. That is the one thing that I think, I guess maybe I disagree with that on, in terms of like, I see something as being robust as also being adaptable, in terms of I have within me, I have robust skills, robust mentality, robust physicality to be able to adapt to whatever needs to happen. There's it's not because I'm static and I'm forced to adapt, or I just take it head on and like, whatever, you can't knock me down. It's more of a like, oh, okay, I'm robust enough that I'm able to adapt and shift to something else. But again, that's me. So maybe I'm just looking into it too much. Initial performances. Robustness is about how well something performs right from the start under challenging conditions without necessarily needing to recover or adapt. Engineering context. In engineering or technology, robustness often relates to how well a system or a product can handle misuse, errors, or unexpected conditions without breaking down. So in that engineering context is the way I see me, or the way I want other people to look at themselves, is that you can handle, because you are so robust that you can handle misuse, errors, changes that come your way, unexpected challenges, unexpected conditions, cold, wet, tired, hungry, all those things, and you're robust. So, and the examples they gave were a bridge designed to remain stable under heavy winter traffic loads, or a software application that continues to operate correctly even when receiving invalid inputs or handling large data sets. The key differences: recovery versus resistance. Recovery versus resistance. Resilience focuses on the recovery from damage or disruption, while robustness is about resisting those damages or disruptions in the first place. That's the whole point that I was getting at. Like, that right there is why I was just thinking, like, man, we may want to think of a different word. That right there. I'm going to say it again real quick. Recovery versus resistance. Resilience focuses on the recovery from damage or disruption, while robustness is about resisting those damages or disruptions in the first place. Adaptation versus endurance. Resilience often involves some form of adaptation or change, whereas robustness might not require alteration, as a system or entity is already capable of handling stress. Stress inoculation, right? Which is what we're going to put you through in the pipeline. That right there. This is grok. This is not like, I had not done this before, because I wanted to do it in real time with you. That way, not only can I work through my bullshit that's in my brain, but also like just kind of get your opinion on it. Temporal dynamics. Resilience has a tempered component, while recovery happens over time. Robustness is more about the immediate performance under stress. Application. Resilience might be more commonly discussed in biological or physiological contexts where growth and adaptation are key. Robustness is frequently used in technological, engineering, or statistical contexts where the emphasis is on the withstanding without failure. Dude, I'm saying dude to myself. That is exactly what I was talking about. Is exactly what I was trying to get after. It's just, I see being robust, or robustness, and again, that's why that's kind of a weird, like, how do you say that? To be resilient, to be robust. I see it as more of a positive thing, and a more, again, not aggressive, but an aggressive, like, hey, I have already shaped and built myself into something so robust that no matter what you throw at me, disruptions, errors, changing conditions, that it will not affect me. Whereas resilience, I'm kind of like, oof, boy, that hit me, and now I need to get back up, and now I've got to adapt and that kind of stuff. So maybe it's more of a fluid kind of thing versus something that is just a fire hydrant, right? So I don't know. Interested to see what you guys think. I appreciate you kind of walking with me, if you're even still listening to this or watching this, because at some point I probably would have turned off a long time ago. But this is just the kind of things that I think about when and I know that certain words will give an emotional reaction, a visceral reaction, and so even a word will help change a mindset and kind of get that light bulb moment where you're like, holy cow, dude, I have not thought of it like that. And to tie it back, that's kind of what like Taylor Starsh and Chris Thomas do. And for One's Ready, at least Aaron and Trent do, and not me so much, during the operator training summits, is that it's supposed to give you those light bulb moments. It's supposed to, all the things that you already know. Maybe it's just one word or a couple words or just a different way of looking at something or thinking about something. And it kind of goes, holy cow, like, how come I didn't see this before? And it'll get you better. That's the whole point of it. So anyway, I'm going to hop off here, drink some water, get some food, and then get ready for a YouTube live with members only. So, again, don't forget to go over to barbellapparel.com and then check out their sale that they're having. I'm telling you, you buy their stuff and you're not going to regret it. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, head over to ONESREADY.com, get yourself a piece of merch. We recently changed our website, so hopefully it's working a little bit better. If you want to buy a tackle, you're going to need to use the URL. Just go to our partners discount page, hit the link. Any of those links on those pages will take you to our specific URLs. All right, we're out here. Later.